welcome to JD Clips. Please enjoy the short versions of our famous videos and keep learning. And don't forget to subscribe. So what was the Justice Party's mechanism? Why did Justice Party get just formed, and then it said that they opposed religion per se? Though of course they never seem to have opposed Christianity or Islam.
So, fantastic question. So, Justice Party was the political face of this ideology premised on so-called Tamil supremacy or the Dravida supremacy, whatever labels you want to give it. So, it wanted a political voice, and it started with the explicit goal of anti-Brahmanism. It was an out and out anti-Brahmin movement from day one. The point was to, what Udayanidhi said, eradicate Sanatana Dharma, but basically calling for the eradication of Brahmins by all methods necessary.
I am told the people who floated the Justice Party were Chettiars, Mudaliars and Nayars. Yeah. And the main reason was the predominance of Brahmins in the English employment system.
Yes and no. I mean, the answer is complex, and there is great truth to what you said.
So all these are wealthy communities.
They are, yeah.
Upper castes.
So
and even martial communities.
Martial races, yeah.
Yeah. That was also part of Madras residency at that time.
The Villalas
of Kerala.
The Villalas were the second most orthodox. I am using this word with specifically. They were the most orthodox community after Brahmins. Villala community. When they saw the potential, the political potential and the long-term potential of this anti-Brahmin narrative that was picking up speed, they figured that, we are eminently placed to reap the long-term benefits of sidelining Brahmins.
Okay, the Villalas.
So basically, your question was, about the predominance of Brahmins in, especially in government jobs and things like that, and despite the existence of these wealthy communities, Villalas, so on. Now, it is, to a great extent, it is true, the Brahmin dominance is true. But the narrative, today's narrative, has distorted it to such an extent as if to portray that Brahmins went out of the way to oppress these people. If that was true, do we hear of one great backlash from the Brahmin community against the Justice Party? One.
For that matter,
if you are an oppressor, and the downtrodden and the oppressed are giving you such a fight, what is the first response? To crush that so-called revolt and opposition, right? Show me one instance, sir. Even a couple of years after Justice Party came to power, a series of, I'll call them revolts only, street riots basically, street violence, resulted in the closure of at least 15 Vedic Patashalas, which had a minimum unbroken continuity of 500 years. That's half a millennium. Across 20 locations in Tamil Nadu. I've given the details in a series I did in Dharma Dispatch, but yeah. This, operation should be made of sterner stuff, to quote Shakespeare. Where was it?
In fact, not just this, before the advent of these missionary narratives of Brahmanical oppression and before the advent of the Aryan invasion theory, I have actually searched for any instance of oppression or backlash to oppression or backlash to backlash of oppression through about 2000, 3000 years. I haven't found any.
You won't find it.
Whereas the attempts have been made to portray advent of Buddhism as some kind of a backlash.
Yes, yes. That has been
backlash
the predominant
that they kept debating for 1,000 years.
Yes.
till they were eliminated by the barbarians.
Yes.
So, if you have come across any such instance,
No, sir. No. The backlash that came from Brahmins to this Justice Party were in the form of articles and essays in journals. What are you faced with? You're faced with street violence. Right? You know, Kadalai, Kurachi, or it's a coastal town basically. So, 600 years old Vedic Gurukulam, it is completely destroyed. And the destruction began back then in the 20s, 1920s. So, what are you talking about? Look, discrimination is a fact of life from human history. All the fingers of the same hand. There is a hierarchy. What this does, this cannot do. What this does, this cannot do. So you have to accept the hierarchy and transcend it. Like you say, you know, cut your nose to spite your face, things like that. This is what they did in Tamil Nadu. Led frontally by Justice Party. The seeds, like I said, it is entirely Christian in tone and tenor and in its ideals.
but then there is a fallout between.
So what happened? Wait, what happened as a result? So find the Vellalars and, you know, other communities, they gained ascendancy, they gained political power, they formed a government,
Found an opportunity.
they formed a government, all these things, they, you know, throughout the Brahmins, which is all fine, okay. But what explains the fact that most of these communities have become isolated? There are Christian Nadars. What does it even mean, sir? There are Christian Gounders.
Another thing,
So this is a Christian project. This Dravidian thing is a out and out Christian project.
one more thing in this is that EVR falls out of the Justice Party.
Yeah, EVR,
As early as I think
EVR, I think,
24 or so.
around 23, 24. No, EVR was first a congressman.
Okay.
EVR was initially a congressman. He was a devout follower of Gandhi. I think Nawab Nehru best describes EVR as a unhinged lunatic whose correct place is a lunatic asylum in which he should be locked and never let out. This Nehru writes in a letter to Kamaraj.
Kamaraj,
It's well documented. So that is what he was. But you know, we'll keep this EVR discussion separate. But since we're talking about these social, ideological, theological phenomena that led to this Dravidianism, one thing it did very well, it kind of eliminated the Brahmins from Tamil Nadu. Now that is one story that has never been told. It is almost a century old. The Brahmin exodus from Tamil Nadu. It has a documented history of 100 years. Unfortunately, the Brahmins of Tamil Nadu have themselves not told it.
This is also not being told because I think Brahmins of Tamil Nadu have done very well elsewhere.
1916 is when Justice Party is formed. 1922, 6 years, is when a government order is passed. Remember, British are ruling Madras Presidency. They pass a government order. It is called a communal government order. There were names like that. So you read the MLCP, Madras Legislative.
yes.
Yeah. So
The communal electorate.
yeah, communal government order 1, 2, 3 or something. Forget the numbers. That specifically excludes Brahmins from government service. So a lot of Brahmin scholars, as in not Vedic scholars, but within the community, they say that fine, you have excluded us from this and you have forced us to look for alternative options in the private sector, which means business, teaching in the private sector, becoming lawyers, judges, bankers, going into business, anything not directly related to the government. But there will come a time when we will be pushed out of that also. This man, this scholar writes this in 1924, which has exactly become the reality. And yet, last year or the year before last, 2021, one scumbag named R. Rajiv Gandhi is a DMK party person.
R. Rajiv.
R. Rajiv Gandhi.
Has such funny names.
And they are
R. Rajiv Gandhi is
Stalin.
Stalin, the mass murderer.
So, R. Rajiv Gandhi says, look, we made a mistake in 1973 when Periyar said we have to commit a genocide of Brahmins. We did not implement it fully. In spite of doing all these operations, and you are still 1% here, but still you are successful, how dare you be successful? He says this. We should eliminate you. ये speech देता है. This is routine in Tamil Nadu. So you see how this man's prophecy in 1924 has come true.
That's very well, but the point is that isn't this a philosophy of diminishing returns? After all, when there are no Brahmins left, almost no Brahmins left, you're saying that only 1% Brahmins.
Yeah.
And why do they keep perpetuating this hate against Brahmins? Of course, there have never, the Brahmins in Tamil Nadu, for that matter in most places, have never been in a position to oppress anyone because they never wielded
Political power at all.
Political power, they never wielded royal power.
Yeah.
In South India, some reputed scholars like Shataudani or Ganesh ji and others, they have written that the political powers in South of India, in most cases has been wielded by only those who are today labeled as OBCs.
Shudras, as they were known. Not just in South India, but since the context is South India, it is entirely true. Fine, give me the name of one great South Indian Brahmin king who either founded an empire or usurped an empire or ran an empire for any length of time. One name.
Pandyans?
One.
Who? Pandyans?
Pandyas were not Brahmins.
The Kshatriyas?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
One name.
No, I don't see any.
Hence proved. Histories are split.
Even all over India, the only ones they quote is probably the
3 or 4 Brahmin dynasties you will find, sir.
All over India. Yeah.
You are talking of a period of minimum 3,000 years.
Yeah, probably more.
That's a lot of thing. Quantity is also quality. That's a lot of time and space are important. Details matter.
Yes, but then the charge against Brahmins is that they captured the minds of the rulers.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not history, that is Marxism. That's not history. But the point out here is that even assuming that charge is true, have you lived in that century? Have you lived in that era? Show me what is your knowledge of the social conditions of that period. Even as recent as the Vijayanagar Empire, around the decline and fall of Vijayanagar Empire, that society was highly mobile. Although the Varnashrama Dharma was enforced, was rather predominant, not enforced, predominant, it was a highly mobile society. One example, there was a barber named Kondoja. With his shaving skills and beard shaping skills, he earned the respect of the king himself, rather Aliya Ramaraya. And he said, ye tumhara jagah nahi hai, you belong to the court, come. He elevated him, gave him lot of grants and put him on par with officers who were Brahmin by birth or other powerful Varnas by birth. So this is mobility, sir. What are barbers classified today as? So the whole point about things like these, blind social reforms, not thinking through the whole thing 50 years, 60 years, not reading history, society and understanding it at a philosophical plane. What it has done is, it has reduced former warriors, it has reduced former statesmen to the levels of beggars who go to any length, who undertake unethical acts to get a caste certificate just so they can be declared as backward.
Falling over backward.
हाँ, इससे ज़्यादा downfall क्या हो सकता है? At the level of character, at the level of conscience, your system is debasing its own people, its own society, and you call this social reform?
For the sake of jobs which do not even form 1% of the total jobs that are available in the country.
Absolutely.